the 114th homecoming week, Call of the Commons, or sorry, the Call of the Columns is the theme for this year. And this is the first game ball from the first homecoming, Chester Brewer versus Kansas, 1911. The score was 3-3. As you can tell, there's actually a gold game ball inside of here. So pretty remarkable piece of Mizzou history and artifact. I thought it was really cool, so I'm going to just share that with everybody today. Obviously, homecoming is very special to the University of Missouri. It was a tradition that was started here, and it's something that we carry on and take very great amount of pride in. And so look forward to seeing all the fans and all the alumni come back for the 114th homecoming, the Call of the Columns. Gutsy win by our team on Saturday. Really proud of our team's ability to really stuff the run and run the football, which ultimately was the difference in the game and the ability to control the clock in the fourth quarter. You know, we finally were able to go on a little bit of a run right there. Offense scoring the touchdown, getting the 2-point conversion, defense going out and getting several stops in the fourth quarter, not surrendering the lead, and then special teams, Robbie Meyer finishing that off with a kick. So really proud of the overall effort from our team. A lot of things to correct. And really the challenge for us is really to move on to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and play the University of UMass. Obviously a new staff, new team forming. I think Coach Harris-Semiak's culture is really starting to take shape. You can tell they're improving in each game, and obviously the bye week came at a great time for them. They played multiple quarterbacks, but I think information came out today they're going to start the freshman who appears to be the better player on tape. Throws the ball with great accuracy and velocity, and adds a lot to their offense. They have a dynamic slot wide receiver. I think is a tremendous player, and they do a really good job on the offensive side of the ball. Coach Bajakian has coached and been a coordinator for a long time at a lot of different places in this league, in the NFL, and has done a tremendous job at each one of those stops. He knows how to get first downs and score points. Defensively, a few transfers, a few returners. They are a 4-down front team with multiple fronts and pressures, multiple coverages. They do a really good job of I believe, stopping the run and creating issues for your coverage, for your quarterback in the coverage game. And then in special teams, they're very aggressive special teams. They attempt to block a good number of punts. They do a really good job on their kickoff cover. They got solid return units. Their punter is a transfer from Texas A&M, does a lot of really good stuff rugby-wise, averages, I think, about 49 yards a punt. It's a quality opponent, a good football team, and one that we have to be prepared for. I think for us, the biggest challenge for team, staff, fans, community, the University of Missouri is not to have relief syndrome, right? To think that because we won an SEC game, we're going to step out of conference, that you would decline in intensity or loss of focus or complacency. And that really for us is the challenge. Instead, we need to work to improve our process. You know, you see when guys lose, they tweet out back to the lab. We need to be back to the lab after a win. We need to be back to the process after we perform. We need to avoid any type of entitlement. You know, we need to make sure that as a team, dress codes are where we're supposed to be. We're in class on time, at study hall, parking in the right spots, avoiding any type of let up, you know, and be intense about our work. Be focused on Toughness Tuesday, and that really is the challenge for our staff to set the tone and for our players to embrace that, because, you know, you've heard it said before, but more people die on the descent of Everest than they do on the ascent to Everest, because there's a lack of focus and concentration once they reach the summit. By no means are we at the summit. We're just a short step, a few short steps into the climb right now. So that's my thoughts on the game. Last thing, just on a personal level, I want to say that I'm deeply saddened by the loss of Sean Clark, coach at UCF and a friend of mine. really have a heavy heart for Janelle, Gianna, and Braxton, his wife and kids. Really, I know Sean, I know his players loved him, I know UCF is going through it right now. I know how good of a coach he was. You know, when I first got to App State, we don't have that type of season without Sean Clark really being the glue that held us together, bridging our culture with the championship culture that they had already established, and really being able to bridge that together. We were great friends. I'll miss the walks that we had and the phone calls we had. I'll never sit around another fireside Bible study that we do on Wednesday night and not think about Sean and a double cheese from Wendy's. That's what we had every Wednesday night. I still have one every Wednesday night thinking about him. So praying for his family, and the world lost a really good person and a great football coach. So with that, I'll open it up for questions you have about UMass.
Start down front here with Eli.
Coach, sorry to follow that with a football question.
Yeah, it is what it is.
When looking back over the tape from the South Carolina games, what did you diagnose with some of those pass explosives allowed?
Yeah, there was a couple of things. I actually think I said it maybe at halftime in our comments. The main thing is bad eyes in our zone coverage. You know, the touchdown we gave up on the 3rd and 15, obviously, first off, you can't jump off sides, and then you get into a reaction of playing the play. We should have been in a version of cover 2. That was the original call. Our safety on the divide never got off, left Toriano in a vulnerable position. So that's one, we can't jump off sides on 3rd and 15 and give a team a free play, and 2, we gotta play the play once the ball is snapped. The wheel route on the naked, we were in cover 2. We didn't have a holistic understanding of who was covering the sit route, so our divide safety wanted to cross stems. He saw one open, so he thought he needed to cover that. Didn't expand his vision and left the wheel route open. You know, that's both player and coaching responsibility. You got to understand the whole part whole. He understood the part, but didn't understand the whole, and that's on teaching. The 3rd and 1 long bomb, we were in a quarterback attacking coverage where if they were in shotgun, we were going to have a safety assigned to the quarterback in the run game. They came out under center, and we didn't make the right adjustment to that. And then obviously we didn't play the ball in the air very well. Those are the 3 that come to the top of my mind. You know, there was a 3rd and, I don't know, 37 or whatever. Quarterback got out of the pocket. We took a bad angle with the spy. Should have been eliminated because we'd really done that the rest of the game. Khalil did it right before half. Darius had done it the previous play. And then we jumped the under instead of staying deep. So there's some things that we can do to clean it up. I think one of the challenges for us is we have a lot of volume, and we need to eliminate some volume and get good at what we do. We don't have to be the best at everything. We have to be the best at what we do. And right now we're trying to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, and that's got to get cleaned up. So, you know, good things to work on, but that was the diagnosis. It's a combination of players, coaches, making sure we're on the same page moving forward.
We'll go back here to Vi.
Eli, what do you feel like you might know about Ahmad Hardy now that you didn't know during recruiting, or maybe it's just more evidence of the same things you saw?
Yeah, you know, honestly, I didn't, in the speed dating world of transfer portal, you don't have a lot of time to get to know people's real personality and their, you hope you know what they're gonna be like in the locker room, but you're not really sure. I didn't really know his fun-loving personality. I didn't know his ability to gather people around him. I didn't realize that he was gonna be such a guy that people wanted to play with and play for. He does a unique job of playing with and for the line and the tight ends, and the defensive players love him. He's got that good combination of trash talk and encouragement. And I think that's been a real attribute to bringing us all together on really in the locker room in general. And then, you know, you hope some of the stuff translates, you're never sure. his yards after contact were really good at the level he was last year. You weren't sure, but now you're pretty confident that's just who he is as a runner.
And just a quick follow-up,
Yeah.
what, if anything, does that some of the early Heisman buzz mean to the program, and is it?
I haven't
something
really
that's-
seen much other than Mizzou people and the national people are still all caught up on 10 quarterbacks. So when they start actually looking into who are the best players instead of just the quarterback stats, because right now, national writers, no offense to y'all, they just look at stats. They're not actually watching enough games to know. But, you know, we got a lot of football left. I don't think anybody's won the Heisman in September. So once you get into October and November and there's sustained excellence, we'll figure out who the best player in college football is. Right now, it's like the polls. The polls and the whatever are just for clicks and podcasts, so.
Down front, Cody.
You guys used drop kick 5 times during the game, as opposed to a traditional kickoff. Just what went into the decision to do that?
Yeah, well, first off, we can actually drop kick, and the rule states that you can either drop kick or kick off the tee, not actually punt, so, we got that figured out. But, you know, we're still trying to figure out our kickoff situation, and obviously Oliver, did a nice job. The first kickoff of the game, we kicked it. We knew in certain directions there was a little bit of wind, and Oliver might be able to get it into the end zone, but that first return, they ran a field return and really got out. It was a great play by Nick Rodriguez. So after that, with Connor's ability to drop kick, we could actually line up and dictate a kick away from their return. And so we knew where their return was going, and then he was able to kick it opposite, which allowed us to have a better coverage scheme. We knew that we weren't going to give up a big return at that point. We might give up some leak yardage. But with him returning it from the minus, I mean, he was a yard deep, or he was 9 yards deep in the end zone versus Vanderbilt. We just knew that unless we were with the wind and felt confident about Oliver's leg, we were giving ourselves a real risky chance on a big time return. So we felt like the best way to negate that was to drop kick and kick it opposite, and they wouldn't be able to, no matter what they did, we were gonna be able to kick it. If they would've put Nick on the left, we would've been able to drop kick it to the right, so on. So it was just kind of a schematic advantage that we felt like we had, and I'd never seen anybody do it before, so there's kind of that to it too.
Down front here, Coach.
Coach, obviously we talk a lot about Ahmad and Jamal, but what Bo's been able to do with his legs this season as well, to have kind of 3 guys you have to worry about on the ground, what has that done for your offense this season?
You know, the thing for our quarterback position, we've always said it, we want to get 2 first downs a game off schedule, that the quarterback can create with his feet. That's kind of a criteria we have for the quarterback position, and I thought Bo really did a nice job of that. There were several plays that, you know, the design of the play for whatnot, it just wasn't going to work out. He was able to have the instincts to tuck it and run, and did a really nice job. And then obviously the boot, the quarterback keeper on the outside zone in the 4th was a big hit. So, you know, it just adds another dimension. We're trying to be, you know, smart about when we ask him to use his legs, but he does a really nice job. And don't like the hit he took in the 3rd quarter, but he's done a nice job so far.
Callum and then Gabe.
Just a quick follow-up on the drop kicks, because how infrequent you see it. Is that something Connor came here with? I mean,
Yeah,
was
that was something he said he
learned?
started learning in high school, and so what happened was South Carolina showed last year versus Illinois a look, and they drop kicked it and kind of caught Illinois by surprise, and we showed that to the team so that we could be prepared if they tried that. And Connor was like, I can do that, and he showed us on Wednesday that he could do it. And then we practiced it, you know, walkthrough on Thursday, and then on Friday, he did it really well. And so we just kind of had it in our back pocket, and then after the first return, I didn't feel like the way we fit it was gonna be great. And just knew that if we gave that guy too many chances, I didn't know how many times we were gonna be able to just feel great that we were gonna knock it down. So, you know, let's take a bullet out of their gun, so to speak.
Go to Gabe.
Eli, it looked like in the second half, maybe Dre and Jalen weren't out there quite as much. Are they healthy? Was that the personnel changes in the second half, or is that accurate?
Dre Norwood and Jalen Callum?
Yeah.
Dre had a little bit of a soft tissue, thing pop up for him, that we'll be monitoring this week. Doesn't appear to be long-term, but that's what happened with him. And, yeah, Catalan, I think, I didn't really notice that he didn't play that much. I thought he played normal, and I know he was in on the Prowler and the Cheetah stuff, so I don't, we have a lot of really good safeties. I guess I do need to make a roster announcement. Caleb Flagg is elected to no longer be a part of our program and choose to redshirt the rest of the year, so we wish him the best. With that being said, we do have a lot of safeties in the back end, and so, we get guys, as many reps as we can to develop the program, so wish Caleb all the best moving forward.
Go right here, Jamil.
Eli, on the kicking situation, I know you had said a few weeks ago, you have the confidence in Robbie from about 52. So on the
I
ESPN.
didn't say confidence, I said he could kick
Could
it.
do it, has some strength.
Confidence and can are two different things.
Sure,
Go ahead.
okay. So on the ESPN broadcast, they had said that you told them
I
that
did.
on kicks from 38 and longer, that would be Oliver. Is that
Yeah.
accurate, and why?
Yeah, so during the week of practice, Robbie was struggling from outside of the 20, and Oliver was doing really good. And we do a kicking segment every Tuesday with our group in front of everybody to try to simulate pressure. And let's just say Rob didn't have a great week in that simulated pressure, and Oliver did. So going into the game, the plan was, and they knew the plan, that anything inside the 20 was gonna be Robbie, anything outside the 20 was gonna be Oliver. And then we got to the last kick, and we just felt like the first kick of a young man's career cannot be basically for the game sealing kick. And so I don't even know if Robbie knew it was the fourth quarter, so we just ran him out there and he kicked it. So I'm still not sure he knew what he was doing, but went in, so that was good.
That's Zach. And bye.
Eli, Damon Wilson is a guy who leads your team in pressures, sacks, and hurries through 4 games. I'm kind of curious, what has made him so effective from your point of view through these first 4 weeks?
That's why we brought him here. We knew he was an elite pass rusher. That's why it was such an important part of our off-season process. We felt like in the portal defensively, we needed to add the ability to pressure the quarterback. And then we felt like we needed to add a difference maker stopping the run. And that's what we did with Trot. And those two guys are a really good combination. Dane's just got he's got a really quick first step. He's got multiple moves and quickness. And he's got a lot of energy. And I think the other thing that really helps him is that there's quality players around him. I mean, Zion ended up with 4 pressures and a sack. Opposite him, Chris McClellan ends up with a sack. So, they were trying to chip 8. You could see that they were identifying him and trying to get the chip to him, which allowed other people to become viable pass rushers. But then there was multiple times that he would beat those, the chip and the tackle. So,
Back to Vahe.
Eli, just one other thing on Ahmad. In this era that's recruiting so sophisticated, I wonder if you might have some notion of why he seemed to be a little under-recruited, and maybe how his emergence reflects something that's harder to measure.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think recruiting's sophisticated. I think it's become copycat. I think, no offense to the guys in here that have recruiting websites, but it's a lot of, everybody tries to be really quick on diagnosing players and tries to be the first to tell you that a freshman and a sophomore are 4 stars and 5 stars, and they discount the growth process. And I think the biggest thing is they discount the senior year. That's not what we're doing moving forward. I mean, we are adamant about seeing progression in their senior year because of the amount of investment that you're having to make into freshman players as recruits. And I think he's probably a really good example of that. A small school in Mississippi that, obviously the recruiting guys didn't get out and see. So thank God ULM saw him. Thank God he chose us.
We'll go over to the recruiting guy.
Not the recruiting guy anymore, it's been a while. Hey, Eli, the, kind of big picture, curious if you had any opinion, thoughts on, your annual opponents that, I guess, aren't official, but have been announced, Arkansas, A&M, and Oklahoma.
I'm just trying to be UMass. I mean, there's so much going on right now. I don't know that there's like I mean, you're gonna play everybody in a two-year deal, like you play 3 permanents and then you play 6 and 26, and then you play the 3 permanents and you play the other 6 and 27, so I don't know that it matters. I think, the SEC has just created a meat grinder that the teams are gonna be in, and it's gonna be a meat grinder, so whether you play those 3 permanents, I mean, you gotta play everybody in the SEC every 2 years, so it is what it is. I don't know what anybody was hoping for, like, there's not like, you know, well, I was gonna say, I mean, there's not like, there's a lot of bad teams in the SEC. I mean, everybody's got good players, everybody's got drafted players, everybody's got 4 and 5 star recruits, everybody's got money in the portal, everybody's got, like, it's, and then without divisions, yeah, it'll be fun, it'll be fun.
2 more, we'll start over here on the left.
Coach, with all that the front 7 has been able to do, especially stopping the run, from an identity standpoint, what have you seen develop through these first 4 games?
Yeah, honestly, I think you see the hallmarks or the DNA of what we want our defensive football team to be: stop the run, have some fun, 2, confuse, harass, and hit the quarterback. And I think we're able to do that at a really high level. We've been able to stuff the run without having to add a lot of pressures or anything like that. We have a little bit of line movement, but for the most part, we're just able to control our gaps and escape, and then play downhill with our linebackers. And then, you know, right now we're able to create pressure with, I thought actually Saturday was our best job of creating pressure without having to bring a lot of extra guys. And then, you know, with him as the quarterback, we had enough speed to spy, and create an issue for him to get out of the pocket and be able to bring him down. So that's what we want to be on defense. We want to be a team that stops the run. You know, anytime you can stop the run, you're really never out of a game. And that's, you know, even you look at our 2 Power 5 games, where we've been behind or it hasn't looked where we want it to be, we've always been able to say, well, we're gonna, in the 4th, we will be able to run the ball and they will not. If you cannot run the ball, you cannot get the clock, you can't run the clock out. You're gonna have to give us more chances. And ultimately that for us, if you look at the formula for us winning 1 possession games or whatever, it's our ability to stop the run and run the ball that gives us a chance in all those opportunities.
Finish right here.
Coach, kind of circling back to Ahmad, early on in the season, he said that everything still felt fast for him, even though he's having these dominant performances. We've had a few check-ins at these press conferences, and again, he still says it feels fast. Even though he's playing really well, how have you seen him kind of evolve, and does it look like the game's changing for him, or what do you guys see?
I see a young man who's still hungry to grow and develop, who understands that each game's a new opportunity to be better. I was really proud of him. He had a really good red zone blitz pickup on a corner that, to be quite honest, in fall camp he would have totally missed. But he's getting better. You know, I think that's when he says the game is fast. I don't think it's fast for him with the ball in his hands. I think it's fast for him with all the other stuff outside of the ball being in his hands. You know, I think Coach Moore does an excellent job of utilizing the backs in the pass game. And so that requires a thought process and knowing where to line up, what the route is. You know, we were chipping every single time we were out last week to the defensive end, so that's fast. They have multiple blitz pickups. Obviously, it's totally different to go from backers to corners in BPU. So I think all of those different things contribute to the game being fast. It will continually slow down, but I think he's hungry to try to master the game because there's a lot more to playing running back than breaking tackles, although that's a big part of it and a fun part of it. You know, being able to do the other things like protect the quarterback, be available in the pass game, and you know, it's not like Kirby just lines him up in the backfield at one spot all the time. I mean, our running backs line up at wide out, they line up at tight end, they jump, they move. There's a lot of variation to what we're asking them to do, and so that takes a little time to get comfortable doing it. And obviously, he's done a really good job doing that.
All right, thank you, coach.
Thank you.
Pretty cool, huh? Yeah?